Hello, my name is Lola, and I'm going to be reacting to Jaws 1975 Kill Count by Dead Meat. This was this this was recommended to me by Maverick Cortez. Thank you for the recommendation. Um, for those in case who don't know, Jaws is like it was one of the biggest summer blockbusters ever. It was the first movie to make over, I think, $2 million in the box office, which nowadays it's not a big deal, but back then it was at the time. And it's crazy to imagine now. Like, man, this movie was when it first came out was rated PG. Like nowadays, a movie like this would be automatically like rated R, like or rated PG-13. You know, uh, and yeah, and it was made by young Steven Spielberg, who I think he was a college dropout. I think he dropped out of high school or he left, and yeah, he pursued his career of being a director, and yeah, this was his big hit. His and it was pretty much off to the races after that. He created so many iconic other movies. E.T. I think he was the executive producer of Back to the Future, or he worked on it. He does so much work. The Indiana Jones trilogy. He's done so much amazing work. And this was pretty much the start of it all. This is where it all started. And yeah, let's see what James has to say about it, and how many death tolls the shark went up to. And if you want to like, comment, subscribe my channel, you can. If you don't want to, that's fine too. Here we go.
Welcome to the Kill Count, where we tally up the victims in all our favorite horror movies. I'm James A. Janice, and today we're looking at Steven Spielberg's Jaws, released in 1975. Jaws is very likely the most influential movie that'll ever be covered on the Kill Count. Sure, Alien basically created the sci-fi horror subgenre, and Jurassic Park was the biggest movie ever for a few years, but it's hard to name a movie that upended the entire film industry more than Jaws. Directed by Steven Spielberg when he was only 27 years old, Jaws was pretty much the first summer blockbuster, like ever. And because of its success, becoming the first movie to ever make $100 million at the box office, it forever changed the way movies were made and released. Throughout the month of July, I'll be covering the original and unrivaled Jaws and its sequels of diminishing returns, from the rinse and repeat Jaws 2 to the SeaWorld set Jaws 3D, all the way to the soapy family melodrama Jaws the Revenge. I've got to be honest, if I've ever seen a franchise that didn't need to exist, it's Jaws. With the first movie such an open and shut classic, it's baffling to me that they bothered to make any more, and it's even more surprising that they all continued to follow the Brody family. It'll be a lot of fun to tear those lesser movies apart over the next few weeks, but right now, it's time for us to pay our respects to the original. Based on the best-selling first-time novel by Peter Benchley, Jaws depicts a tiny New England island tormented by a killer shark named Bruce. He's not actually named Bruce in the movie. That was more of an on-set nickname courtesy of Spielberg.
Steven named him that after his lawyer.
And he did so because the on-set shark was a pain in the ass. They actually had several different sharks constructed for the film, from fins on boards to half sharks to a 12-ton hydraulic full shark,
which I call the Great White Turd.
The sharks were constructed by a team led by Bob Matty, who had made the giant squid in 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. But due to the novel's success, the studio rushed production and didn't give Matty the time he needed to perfect his creations. The mechanical problems from the various sharks cost an already arduous film shoot extra time and money.
Everything that could go wrong with a shark went wrong with the various sharks.
In fact, production took a grueling 7 months from start to finish, proving Richard Dreyfuss's original assessment pretty accurate.
This sounds like it's going to be a great movie. I'd rather watch this movie than shoot it, because it's going to be a bitch to shoot.
I don't think anyone would say that all the problems weren't worth it, though, considering the impact that Jaws continues to have on popular culture to this very day. Will the movie's kill count match its massive influence? Let's find out and get to the kills.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It was 100 million. Holy crap. Like, depending on the budget, depending on how much went into making your movie, it seems like it's sounds like a pretty good day. But I mean, nowadays with, because of Avengers Endgame, and Infinity War and Titanic, those movies making, the big crossing the $1 billion mark of, of bringing in, money, like 100 million seems like chump change, but I don't know. To me, 100 million sounds pretty good. I mean, of course, back at this time, like no other movie had ever done that. No other movie had come close to that. At that time. Back at that time, it was a lot of money. But nowadays, it's like I said, depending on how much you put into your movie, it's not a lot. Or it might just seem like a good day, but that's it, Yeah, let's get back to Kills.
The movie begins at a beach blanket party where spit is swapped and joints are passed. One sandy beach babe, Chrissy Watkins, makes eyes at a guy named Tommy and entices him to follow her for a midnight skinny dipping. Or a sunrise skinny dipping. Yeah, get that magic hour lighting for your naked bods, yo. Chrissy winds up in the water by herself after Tommy tuckers out, and there's not a single person watching this video who doesn't know what happens next. Down from below, an unseen shark approaches in an unforgettable point of view shot and starts to tug Chrissy below the surface. Despite the urban legend, actress and stunt performer Susan Backlany was not actually injured during her iconic thrashing. So no, her screams and cries of "it hurts" aren't a result of actual broken bones or anything. She was just reacting with legit surprise as they tugged her back and forth with the pulley system she was rigged up to. After 45 seconds of struggling, Chrissy is pulled beneath the surface, capping off this opening sequence with cinema's most iconic kill since Psycho's shower scene. Jaws' sharktastic tale takes place on Amity Island, a fictional New Island town in Long Island, New York that was played by real-life island Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts. Martha's Vineyard lends the movie a perfect small-town flavor, and its selection as a shooting location by production designer Joe Alves cannot be overlooked. Chrissy's crab-infested corpse is found on the beach by Police Chief Martin Brody, who somberly removes his glasses and types up Chrissy's cause of death as shark attack. Chief Brody, played by Roy Scheider, is new to Amity, having just moved here with his wife Ellen and their two sons, Michael and Sean. And he's still seen as an outsider by the island's small-town populace. Maybe they'll like you a bit more if you keep working on the local accent, Brody.
In the yard, not too far from the car.
Yeah, you'll get it. Because of the shark attack, Brody wants to close down the beaches. But Amity, a tiny tourist town, is gearing up for its annual 4th of July celebration. So Mayor Larry Vaughn and some other town leaders, including a guy named Meadows, played by the film's co-writer Carl Gottlieb, corner Brody on a ferry during a real fun long one take and tell him, "Hey newbie, don't fuck with the program."
Amity is a summer town. We need summer dollars.
The mayor even gets the town doctor to tell Brody to reclassify Chrissy's death as the result of a boating accident. After all, there's no proof of any shark, and the mere mention of one could ruin their economy.
You yell shark. We've got a panic on our hands on the 4th of July.
So, Brody is forced to stay quiet and let the awesome editing do the talking as he sits on the beach and vigilantly watches everyone who might be putting themselves in danger. How about that? Is that a Sharky Boy Broadster? Nah, it's just an old dude in a swimming cap. Get a hold of yourself, man. This whole scene is a masterpiece in editing and sound design and was often shown in my film classes as an example of how to build suspense. It all pays off when the shark returns for real in more point-of-view shots.
That iconic
accompanied by
theme
John
song.
Williams' Oscar-winning shark theme. Bruce's second victim is a young boy named Alex Kintner, who explodes into a fountain of blood that gives Police Chief Brody a bad case of the vertigos. Oh, and all those kids are swimming around in Alex's blood water? Sick. Everyone else in the water retreats back to land, leaving Alex's mom, Mrs. Kintner, to discover by deduction that it was her son who bit the big one. Or I guess got bit by the big one. At a town meeting, Brody once again says that they need to close the beaches, causing a ruckus among the townfolk whose livelihoods depend on summer dollars. Their clamoring is only broken up by esteemed British actor Robert Shaw making a Carlos-killing entrance. This near-mythical man is Quint, the sea captainiest sea captain who's ever helmed a ship. He offers his services to hunt down and kill the shark, but only for a considerable fee that he refuses to split.
$10,000 for me by myself. For that you get the head,
tail, the whole damn thing.
Instead of hiring Crazy Pants Quint and paying him that blood-red grant money, Mayor Mustard Suit makes a compromise to shut down the beaches for only 24 hours. In the meantime, Alex Kintner's mom has put out a $3,000 bounty on that shark's head, which means all sorts of wacky characters are going to be trying to get them shark bucks. Like these two dudes who use a dinner roast to try to snare the beast, only to end up destroying the dock they're standing on. Or all these out-of-towners the next day who are so excited to catch that fish, they're overloading boats and tossing dynamite into the water. They're even taking dogs out with them. Who ever heard of a shark hunting dog? I tell ya. In the midst of this confusion, oceanographer Matt Hooper, played by Richard Dreyfuss, arrives to give Brody consultation regarding shark matters. One look at Chrissy Watkins' arm, and Hooper knows this wasn't a boating accident.
It was a shark.
Somebody called? Yeah, this poor tiger shark is a victim of that speedboat posse, and the whole town is eager to celebrate its capture as a vanquishing of their aquatic evils, even if they've never heard of a tiger shark before.
A what?
A tiger shark.
A what?
You know what? Never mind. Hooper measures the tiger shark's feeding hole and determines that the bite radius on this animal is different than the wounds on the victim. Ooh, Mayor McSharpsuit don't like that kind of talk. And neither does Alex Kintner's mother. Just kidding. She's not slapping Brody over bite radii. She's mad at him because he knew about Chrissy's death, but didn't close the beach before her son got killed. The encounter leaves Brody racked with guilt, with nothing able to cheer him up, except maybe his youngest son Sean imitating his every move in a cute and classic scene that they came up with on the spot. It's friggin' adorable, and would probably cheer any parent up, shark death guilt or not. Hooper stops by the Brody house, and after stealing Brody's uneaten plate and getting the police chief drunk with a whole bunch of wine, the two of them spark a bromance that I absolutely love. They drunkenly head down to the docks and cut open the tiger shark.
A what?
To see if the Kintner boy's body is inside. But instead, all they find is, what is that, milk? I don't know, milk and fish, I guess. And a license plate. Yo, tiger shark, you've been swimming with expired tags. With no boy body in their possession, they know there's another really big shark out there. So these drunk asses take Hooper's boat out to find it right then and there. The boat's loaded with shark tracking technology, all of which Hooper says he paid for himself.
You're kidding.
No. You rich?
Yeah.
They track down a beat-up boat that Brody recognizes is owned by local fisherman Ben Gardner, a hell of a minor character who we saw earlier when Hooper first arrived.
Hello. Hello back, young feller. How are you?
Ben Gardner was played by Martha Vineyard Local and actual grizzled fisherman Craig Kingsbury. He improvised a lot of his own dialogue.
They'll wish their fathers had never met their mothers when they start taking their bottoms out and slamming into them rocks, boy.
And his peculiar turns of phrase sometimes wound up in the script as part of Quint's dialogue. In fact, it was Mr. Kingsbury who provided the famous line, bluegills and tommycods.
Not like going down the pond chasing bluegills or tommycods.
Now, Hooper may not know Craig Kingsbury, or even Ben Gardner for that matter, but he does know he's got to check out this boat haul. He swims down there and finds a hole in the hull with a tooth to boot. Oh, and a masterful jump scare thanks to Ben Gardner's dead face. This corpse reveal is one of my favorite jump scares in all of horror, and I love the story behind it too. During an otherwise successful test screening of the movie, this moment didn't get as big a reaction as Spielberg had hoped for. The studio thought it was fine and told him to let it go, but Spielberg spent $3,000 of his own money to reshoot the scare in a swimming pool back in Los Angeles. Then he and his editor, the legendary Verna Fields, who won an Oscar for her work on Jaws, cut a ton of different versions until they found the most effective possible timing for the scare. That kind of dedication is what makes Steven Spielberg Steven Spielberg. Brody and Hooper once again tell the mayor that he needs to close the beaches on account of the great white killing machine in their waters. And once again, Mayor Negligence tells them that they're outsiders who don't understand the island's economy. He'd rather Brody go after the town's street artists who have been vandalizing the town's only billboard with Sunday newspaper comic quality graffiti. And that is not a compliment. Oh well, maybe the 4th of July crowd won't be too bad this. Oh no, that's so many people. There's people everywhere. Oh God, what are we gonna do with all these? No, what the fuck, dude? Stop! That's too many people for Sharktown, USA. Yeah, Amity's Beach gets nasty packed, but with Shark Team 6 out on the water and in the air, people are reluctant to actually go swimming. Probably doesn't help that there's a live report about the recent shark attacks done by a newscaster played by the author of the Jaws novel and co-writer of the film,
What?
Peter Benchley. Eventually, the mayor
Awesome.
convinces one of his compatriots into making the water look safe by going for a swim. Jeez, dude, you can risk your life for Dear Mayor all you want, but you don't have to drag your kids into the shark water too. The plan works, and everyone succumbs to peer pressure and gets in the water as well. Except for Brody's son, Mike, who he restricts to the offshoot pond.
Pond's for old ladies.
I know it's for the old ladies, but just do it for the old man, huh?
The people on the playa all splash around, basically ringing the dinner bell for old Brucey. And when a fin appears behind some of the swimmers, a shark panic breaks out that causes kids to cry and dudes to get trampled. Hard to believe that all this chaos was caused by a couple of little shitbirds with way too pro a prank budget. I'll tell you what though, the water around them probably just got a whole lot warmer.
You made me do it.
While they presumably arrest
you
these
get?
kids, someone sees a real shark headed through the channel into the estuary, aka the old lady pond. Watch out now, little boys! Thankfully for Mike Brody and his Brody bros, there's a random dude between them and Bruce, and that's who the shark knocks into the water to secure its 4th kill of the film. Although I will note, Bruce missed out by not eating that leg. Legs are great deep sea fried, Bruce. Obviously, this is totes bad news for the mayor, and Brody drives the point home in no uncertain terms.
You're the mayor of Shark City.
He gets the vulnerable mayor to sign a contract hiring crazy old Quint, who is uniquely suited for this job. His only form of home decor is shark jaws, and guess what the dude eats for dinner? Shark jaw soup! Brody convinces Quint to let Hooper come with them on the hunt, even though the shark assassin doesn't trust Hooper's city hands or college learning.
All right. Hey, I don't need this. I don't need this working class hero crap.
With one last hug goodbye to his wife Ellen, Brody boards Quint's ship, the Orca, and the 3 very well-defined characters set out to spend the rest of this movie together out on the water. Most of the movie's second half is just expertly acted scenes between the 3 leads, so it's great to watch even if it doesn't make for a lot of kill count material. There are some humorous character moments and some exposition for explosive endings,
This is compressed air. You screw around with these tanks and they're gonna blow up.
but after a few eventless hours at sea, things on the Orca are getting boring, like break out a game of solitary boring.
Stop playing with yourself, Hooper.
Might as well chum the water and see if it brings anything
here it
up,
comes.
Brody. Like a shark, motherfucker! And Bruce is a big boy, too.
You're gonna need a bigger
For
boat.
both.
Fun fact, that iconic line wasn't written by any of the many screenwriters. It was improvised by Roy Scheider. Also, just to show
Cool.
how many problems the mechanical shark gave them, here it is, fucking up that classic shot.
And down.
Oh, Bruce, you so shitty. They estimate the Great
God,
White
we
to be
still love you,
25
Bruce.
feet long, which, yeah, is at least 25 reasons to break out the collapsible harpoon. In an effort to track the beast, Quint has Hooper tie a barrel to his spear and then fires it into the shark. Wait, I thought the expression was shooting fish in a barrel, not shooting fish with a barrel. They start to follow the shark and its new yellow barrel tail, but Brucey pulls it down underwater with him, which leaves Brody calling for quits while an awkward dissolve takes us into the night.
Yeah, but we could radio in and get a bigger boat out here.
What the fuck was that? Shows how even a masterpiece of cinema can have the occasional clumsy craftsmanship. The boys have a below-deck slumber party filled with booze and eventual camaraderie that comes from a comparison of their accumulated battle scars. Sorry, Brody, appendectomy scars don't count. Especially not after Quint reveals that he was on the USS Indianapolis, a real-life World War II battleship that successfully delivered the atom bomb before getting torpedoed. The survivors suffered 5 days of shark attacks before they were finally rescued. The few that were left, anyway.
So 1,100 men went in the war. 316 men come out. The Sharks took the rest June the 29th, 1945.
Quint's monologue is a classic scene that was put in the script by uncredited contributing screenwriter Howard Sackler, and it provides a great reason for why he's so shark obsessed. I also love that Richard Dreyfuss didn't even have to act here as he looks in awe at Robert Shaw.
When Robert told that story, I couldn't keep my eyes off him.
As the sun begins to rise and a familiar yellow barrel approaches the ship, the 3 amigos are so drunk that they're belting out tavern songs together. That gives Bruce the perfect opening to start, holy shit, just tearing this whole ship apart. And knocking out the power? Aw, how are they gonna play Nintendo now? The shark swims away from them again, and in the morning, the barrel resurfaces while they're Millennium Falconing the Orca. They try pulling in the rope to tie it to their ship, but that only leads to another shark attack! Watch it now! The admittedly not great looking shark swims around their ship, and when it's off the bow, Quint shoots it with another harpoon, attaching another barrel to it so they can go go on another shark chase. But I think this shark chase might go a little smoother than their last one, judging by John Williams' music here. Sure enough, they catch up to the shark and Quint harpoons it again. And hell, even Brody lands a couple of shots on the fish. They're finally able to tie the shark rope to their ship and start to tow the thing in, but Bruce is so big the ship can barely hold it. And even worse, that dumbass looking fish is starting to chew straight through the ropes. I don't know, shoot it again, I guess? The shark thrashes around and starts quite the commotion on deck, and in no time at all, the towers have become the towed as Bruce pulls the ship in the direction he wants to go. His tugging floods the Orca in the process, so even after Quint cuts the line with a machete, the ship is a waterlogged mess. It makes slow speed as Quint finally turns it back towards land, all while the shark and its barrel parade continues to chase after them. Quint pushes the ship too hard and blows out its engines, leaving them sitting ducks on a boat that barely remembers how to be a boat. You're supposed to flow, brah. With no other options, they turn to Hooper's shark cage and a plan to poison the shark with a spear when it gets close enough. Yeah, have fun with that, Hooper. He descends below the surface and gets an immediate visit from the Underwater Welcome Committee, comprised entirely of Bruce the Shark. Welcome to the ocean, motherfucker! One of my favorite things I learned researching this movie is that Hooper's stunt double for this scene was none other than Dick Warlock. Yeah, man, Michael frickin' Myers from Halloween 2, slash that one android from Halloween 3, slash that nice old man I interviewed once at the Halloween 40 convention. I love it. Bruce's surprise attack knocks the poison spear right out of Hooper's hands and down to the ocean floor below. The shark then tears the cage open and engages in a tooth and knife fight with Hooper before the oceanographer manages to escape and swim away to safety on the shallow seabed. Bruce gets caught in the cabling for the shark tank, and this actually wasn't in the original script. You see, shark experts Ron and Valerie Taylor shot real shark footage for the movie off the coast of Australia. At one point, while they were shooting with a thankfully empty shark cage, a great white actually got caught in the cabling and thrashed around for a good long while, even hitting Ron in the face with its tail. Although the cage ended up breaking away from the boat, the shark was okay in the end, and since they had all this crazy footage, they figured might as well write it into the movie. After tearing the ship up some more, the shark regroups for another attack, and when it does, it's a doozy, cause that 25-foot Amity menace swims right up onto the Orca's deck and starts pulling it down underwater. Brody and Quint start sliding down the deck, Titanic style, and Quint ends up sliding right into Bruce's mouth. His death at the hands of the shark is a messy, bloody, Melvillian affair, and it's one of those moments where it's fun to remember that this movie is PG, since the PG-13 rating wasn't introduced until 1984. The Orca's had enough of this shit and is calling it a day, which is bad news for Chief Brody, but just fine for Bruce. That is, until Brody tosses the shark an oxygen tank as a treat, and the stupid fish accepts his gift and swims away with it in his mouth. And so when Bruce comes back for one last pass, Brody climbs the mast of the sinking ship and starts to shoot at the fish. You wanna hit him there, Chief?
Smile, you son of a...
Someone order sushi? I know I only put humanoids on the kill count, but I made an exception for Cujo, so here's another one for Bruce. But that's only because it's the OG Jaws. Them sequel sharks ain't getting shit, you hear me? With the shark dead, Hooper resurfaces and lets Brody know that those rumors of his death were greatly exaggerated.
Quint.
Oh, no, sorry. Those rumors were true. The Quint ones. He's dead. The movie ends with the two men paddling back to land, and if only the Jaws franchise had ended there with them. How many people and sharks named Bruce were killed in Jaws? Let's find out at the numbers.
Nice.
There were 6 deaths in Jaws, as long as you let me flout my own rules and include Bruce among them. That means the victims were 1 part female, 4 parts male, and 1 part shark, giving us a tiny taste of fish pie. With a runtime of 124 minutes, we had a kill on average every 20.67 minutes. I'll give the golden chainsaw for coolest kill to Quint. Honestly, every death in this movie is done pretty well, but Quint's takes the gold because all that blood makes it feel so damn horrific. Dull machete for lamest kill will go to Alex Kintner, but only by default. It's not Alex's fault that he's up against a severed leg, an awesome jump scare, an iconic opener, and a freaking shark getting blown the fuck up. And that's it. Jaws came out in 1975 and changed the film industry forever. Its sequels weren't nearly as successful, but we're still gonna look at them, starting with Jaws 2 next week. Until then, I'm James A. Janice. This has been The Kill Count. Thanks a lot for watching the Jaws Kill Count. I want to thank some patrons like Kelsey Atwell, Robert Reese, Casey Golly, Zachary Roberts, Heather Lovelace, and Zach Creeley. The more I rewatched and learned about this movie, the more it's just so fucking amazing. And yes, Jaws counts as a horror movie. It's a monster shark eating people. What do you want? Thanks everyone. Be good people.
Oh no, that's not my. That's my next reaction. Sorry. Sorry. But like, yeah, that Jaws is a classic, man. No matter what anybody says. And like, yeah, it's crazy to think like, yeah, like I said, the movie's PG. When of course nowadays a movie like this would have been automatically rated R. Like, and yeah, of course, you know, to quote an awesome character, it belongs in a museum. If there was any way to put a movie in a museum somehow, I don't know. Yeah. What can I say that everybody else hasn't said about this, about Jaws? Like, it's great, it's suspenseful, it's terrifying. If it doesn't scare you from going into the water and being attacked and killed and eaten by a shark, I don't know what else will. Like, because like, yeah, this movie scared the hell out of me. Like, after watching that, I said, hell no. Like, I will only go ankle deep in water. That's it. I won't even go knee deep. No. I would not take that chance. Even though I have heard some people say, oh, sharks are cool, but like, I mean, you still hear every once in a while on the news that, oh, somebody got mauled or killed or eaten by a shark. So, I don't know. Anyway, yeah. That's my reaction to Jaws 1975 Kill Count by Dead Meat. Everyone take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you in the next one.